And it was not. And that's what it's really an exercise. It wasn't good enough. That's my it's not like the and they were right and that's the point. And the thing is, what I was saying was really smart. All right, you better not look at that. Because I'll give you some names and they got shit. No, they're so far.
Okay, nobody wants to.
All right.
We're gonna get started. Thank you everybody again, and again I apologize that Andrew Mass couldn't make it with us. We're gonna start the art panel. I like to start all of these with something from Lafferty in the Gathering of the Tribes, which was his report after coming back from LaffCon, which I understand he wasn't going to. He wrote briefly about the art show. And he said, the art show was huge and splendid. Just as science fiction is the only real fiction being written these years, so is fantasy the only real art being painted these years. Science fiction conventions were real and living artists that could be found. So we're not a WorldCon, we're not really that big, but I do think we have real living art to be found. We have 3 real living artists. We should get it. I had a chance to check out their work out in the lobby. It's excellent. I'm a big fan. I should probably just shut up, but I don't have the technical capability to describe their work, but I was rereading Tell a Funny Dog, which is one of my favorite Lafferty nonfiction essays. He believes that the good fiction should be good humor. Good humor as well. And I was reflecting on these artists, and even Bill Rogers, whose work is out in the hall, demonstrates some element of good humor. But I distinguished it. So Bill's work is described as primitive, and that you can see that it's mixed media. It's on notebook paper. You can see the line behind it. I see the good humor of awe, and he's just so in awe of what Lafferty's doing that he's struggling to find a way to express this, and it just kind of overflows out of him. And Anthony, who again is the face of LaffCon, I see mirth and quite a full belly laugh, but it's like a twinkle in his eye. If you look at his work, there's always this behind it, and if you've gotten personal messages from him, you know that it's sometimes not so quiet humor. But in the work itself, and again, it's amazing that it's all digital. I was telling you earlier because there's a groundedness that I think has to do with the bold lines. There's to it that belies the fact that it's digital. And then in Lausanne, I see the good humor of just joy, and there's a stability to it, and the colors are softer. There's a celebration, and there's this idea that we've, I don't know, seen something pleasant in the world. and we want to reside there. Then in Yakov's work, which is the newest to me, and it's been such a delight seeing it, I see glee, and it's the most anarchic and kind of wild of the bunch. Those are the good humors I see in this, and this is me trying to preview and also to frame this. What I'd like for you to do right now is to talk about how you see your own work, talk about how you approach translating Lafferty into a visual medium. And then we'll have time. We've also got some examples of Lafferty illustrations that I'd like you to comment on and see where they did things right, where they did it wrong. And Yakov also produced some excellent slides, which we can get to. So actually, why don't we start with this then? Yeah, I was gonna make a joke that the Lafferty academic panel were the bearded guys, and the Lafferty art department were the clean, smooth faces. And these
Sorry.
So anyhow, Lisanne, please.
Okay, now let's make short statements first. Lisanne, if I approach Lafferty like an illustrator, I'll pick something and I'll paint it. I'll paint the scene. Try to be pretty representational, not always, but. And I brought this today, my thieving bear, to show you good illustration is a translating skill. It has nothing to do with painting. So, technical, short statement.
So I'm Yakov Arganov, and I'm not a professional artist, at least yet. I'm a biologist. I'm by Robert D. for the art exhibit here, because I think Anthony recommended my work that he saw on Facebook. So in any event, at first I was puzzled because when I read Lafferty, I don't usually, it doesn't start me thinking in terms of creating some art for it, almost like what I mentioned. But then when I was kind of forced to do it, I started thinking of other artists that I thought would make great illustrations for Lafferty stories. Thinking that way, I decided to experiment with different styles and to thinking of stories that make me laugh or scare me enough to give me a sort of impulse. And that's the result which you can see in the corridor.
My name's Anthony Rhodes. I'm a trained experimental psychologist, which would focus mainly on research over therapy. But the first things that I was good at as a kid were art and music. I was going to be the first person in my family to go to college, and I was expressly told that it wouldn't be for art. And that's what I did. But luckily, I was good also at science. And I went to college, I got my job, and something about this guy from Tulsa, which is where I'm from. Getting into the books and reading the books inspired me to dive back into art. My approach was to quickly look over what I could find of what had been there before. The books hadn't been out in a while. There hadn't been a lot of new art out. So it was no utilization that I could see of computers. So I said, great, I can make myself stand out from everything. I can even make bad art and it will at least stand out because it will look different. The problem was I had to teach myself how to do it. But that's why everything's done in the computer. It's why I'm trying to make things have those crisp computer-generated arches and lines. And the black and white was because when I looked at previous issues of the grays seemed to have difficulty in the printing. And I thought, well, I'll just get rid of all the grays and go black and white only.
each of us have different approaches to the art, because I'm pretty much a photorealist, even though the stuff doesn't fall from that model I'm taking from. You're expressionistic, I would call it. You have a name for it?
I would say I'm experimenting.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what would be the. I felt that LaffCon2 prose requires more abstract approach, sort of, but also it had limitations of the media, like Anthony said. Grace wouldn't print so well, and the color printing was out of the question for a moment. So that pushed me into more graphic, kind of black and white.
Anthony is, well, you're turning into nearly cartoonist on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so it's like 3 different approaches and they all work. They're all different. They all bring different aspects of Lafferty to. So we're going to need a moderator because we're artists and we don't talk.
You were doing great with me.
Yeah, well, I'm
So, well, go ahead and, you gave your short statement, but give your history of illustrating Lafferty, because you're the one up here who's actually been paid to do it before.
Yeah, I was paid to do it. Sinbad and Lafferty and Orbit were the first things I was commissioned to do. And for Sinbad, it was simple. I took the scene of the dragons at the gates of hell or Baghdad sewers, depending on how you read that piece of the story, because dragons sell books. If there was a dragon in the story, you put it on the cover. That is the rule. And that one, and it's actually mechanical. Well, we are not interesting, but the red is actually a different overlay on it. White, and then I went to Lafferty and Orbit. I did something really crazy that I've only seen in Leo and Diane Billings' work up to that point, which is I had overviews of three subjects that ran throughout the book and picked an element from each short story, and that's what's in the cover of that one. They're totally different, and since then I've done pretty realistic representations of scenes on occasion. Pieces of black and things.
Except the scenes are so fantastic, or they don't look. Some of the pieces,
That's
like, yeah,
nice about it.
they're scenes, but they,
Right. They are fantastic, but then you have something like your Rainbird painting, which is very,
Yes.
that's probably the most more realistic version.
Has,
The sky.
it's like sort of surrealist, yes. Emptiness without development.
So, again, I'm stressing the humor, and but maybe that's not all of it. So when you take the ones, you had the dragon book commercial.
Yeah,
Makes
very
sense.
commercial.
And I love the Sinbad cover. The in orbit seemed more like it was you personally trying to
Do a
get
tour
some
de
sort of.
force with a very difficult style of painting. I will gravitate to the most difficult styles of painting. The westerns and sword and sorcery, these are terribly hard things to do. Live portrait models. You know, you show me something difficult and I run to it and try to do it. So that'll take the easy way out and everything.
And so when you later on, when was that published?
Is that 90?
Okay. So how long was it between that and your first fan painting?
Well,
Because
I guess you call it family. Ooh, a long time. Oh, a long time.
your approach is different now.
I'm a lot better. I paint a lot faster.
But you've
I hope
had free reign to select material and also.
Mostly I'm selecting material based on stories I hear you guys want to print in the magazine.
It's still commercially.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, base of grass, base of straw. It's like, oh God, it's like base of grass, base of straw. I want to put on a magazine. I'm going to put base of grass, base of straw. This is my favorite name book story, base of grass, base of straw. So,
Was the daisy grass made to show up there was huge drums?
no, a long dry spell, yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, no, I did some strange plasmid.
Oh, yeah, hound dogs are.
Yeah.
We're talking about interpreting Lafferty visually, how you have to strain out. I mean, there's so much in the stories, and a lot of times there's not a lot of description of what is, how physically things exist. You know, as you're trying to conceptualize what you're going to put down, what are you going to include? What can you include? And what is this going to be? Because it's so abstract, it's not going to make it.
I've done it by focusing on one scene. Just phasing out the story, focusing on one scene. Keeping in mind that Lafferty is a man born in 1900 in the Midwest, how he would visualize things. Having a modern sensibility may not be entirely appropriate.
Also, perhaps I don't want to give any spoilers.
Yeah, you try to avoid spoilers in your illustration. You definitely try to avoid doing the last third of the book. Yeah.
Exactly.
Unless you told you the
Not
last third of the book, which I think somebody else has told you the final scene of the story.
I was on the final page.
Approaches. So in some cases, I just try to illustrate a scene, like with a picture of a fine plane. The scene that kind of captures the humor and the horror of the story in the same moment. And in some cases, it was more like the concept of the story that shows you some of the elements, but you have no idea about the plot or where it leads. That is a picture for Lois. Hopefully they both work. But it's,
No, but there are great choices involved all along the way because bugs, wonderful bugs.
They're not described in the story.
Right, no, not at all.
They're
They're just referred to as bugs, and then there's a place where they don't look like that.
for the depictions, they rely on their names in the story. So there is no depiction, but name gives you kind of idea of personality. And they were not, although they frequently described as menacing or plotting or mysterious, but benevolent. So that's why they look like they look.
And about breaking it down, Anthony, your fourth, I can't remember the line. We picked, is it from chapter 2, Fourth Mansions, the illustration that's in the LaffCon2 book there? Like that's just a single sentence.
Yeah.
That I'd read that chapter multiple times and just read right past it.
Yeah.
And something in that caught you though, and it illustration that now I can't read that sentence the same way because I'm.
Yeah, and that was different than a lot of the other times I was inspired. Usually I'm just reading and there's an image left over. If I'm going through a short story, will just be some image that came somewhere in that story and it's still there when I'm done. And that's the one thing I'm trying to sketch out and put down. Once I've got the basics down, I start trying to add or think what elements I can take that I can add into that. You know, the headdress for Narrow Valley, that the concept has come with the expression on the inside until later. I was like, oh God, they have some force. That's what makes this more Lafferty is throw the joke in.
100 artists do the same story of Lafferty. It's not true with other writers, and come up with 100 different images.
Right.
I chose Royal Licorice, who chose the political poster,
Yes, yes.
and on the front of Lafferty in orbit, I have.
Very good.
Of course.
David?
Yeah, sometimes I see a lot of pictures as pictures can be charming or cute, but it could something kind of scary. Like in Anthony's Full of Fur. He's got a monster and it's a monster and it's cute, but that's a terrifying scene.
Right.
And is that a conscious thing? Because sometimes you see that in like in Miyazaki films as well. There's like these cute little like, tree spirits. but they're kind of mentioning as well. Is that something that's intentional, or is that something that's just kind of?
For that illustration, it was a little bit of both. That was only the second piece of art that I've made since I started making art again. That one reflects a lot more of the way that I used to draw back before I stopped. Also, a lot of that is inspired by Lafferty's writing. When Lafferty writes about horrible things, he writes them with a big smirk on a dead face, and it just felt right.
If you did that one in a photorealistic style, it just looked like a horror painting, which is like totally inappropriate, so inappropriate.
So leading up to Yakov's slide, with Sam and Anthony, could you talk about influences on your current style, and then favorite, or just maybe your favorite Lafferty cover?
Well,
I know the Sam has mentioned Leo and Diane Dillon.
Dylan, yes, I think Leo and Diane did the fourth actions, I just adore them. Because actually seeing it, because they grasp what a story is, give nothing away. And actually, you can see where it relates to the story. The puppet master on the fourth mansions. Because the death bird story says where I got the idea is a huge death bird. I've seen that painting on, and all the stories are represented hiding in its feathers. Phenomenal with things. I've seen Diane Dillon do a lady built out of fruit. It's nothing but a pile of fruit, and it's a photographic woman. She's like amazing. Leo tends to do Buddha, or did Buddha things.
my favorite is still Lucian's cover for Peace and Laughter one. It's actually the song, and that's why there's such a joy out of mimicking it in one of the illustrations that I did.
That's wonderful.
They had really nothing to do with the two stories. I just want to do it. I've already put this big frame here. And that was fun. And then I had my fingers crossed that I wouldn't accidentally offend me.
But Sam brought up that your style strikes her as more cartoonish. We almost got in the comments last night, but is that influence?
Yeah, definitely. When I'm in, one of the nice things about working with computers, after you've drawn something, and it's not where you want it to be, you can just supposed to kind of paint over it or erase it, and try again. And a lot of times I find myself, well, there's two things. One, for some reason, I always draw very small legs, not on purpose, and you have to use the computer to stretch their legs out. And the other thing that I find myself doing a lot is I'll draw normal eyes, and then I'll look at it and I'll say, this is not cartoony enough. This doesn't fit not only with the feeling that I want, but also with everything that I've done before. And I'll just grab those eyes and just make them a lot bigger on the face to make them more cartoony.
My big influences, which you would know, is like Remington of the Western painters, because they started comic books came from them, action came from them, sort of came from so many things, journalistic newspaper illustrations, and everything starts with them.
And I've seen on your Facebook page some of your Western art, and it's great, and I love how that feeds into the taste of graphic is strong as well. And I'm having a hard time doing this.
Western art is very, very, very black.
In Western art. Your Western songs, I grew up on, like, I had a Western song book, everybody's dead.
So long as
So yeah, I apologize. We confess the tech aspect of all this is the weakest.
This is what you're trying to. Is that cookie
Oh,
noise?
you know what? Maybe it is that they have downloaded and we need to reconnect to that.
Right.
Cookies and ice was the first one.
That was,
That was the first one.
I think we got logged off. That's.
The library probably will go off automatically.
Kevin's. I don't think Kevin.
No, library Wi-Fi. The library Wi-Fi is very unreliable.
Oh, Kevin.
This room is really bad.
Yeah.
And I called the tech about it.
On there?
Yeah.
Can't connect to this.
Yeah, I know, I don't even, when I tried to hook it up,
It
it
hasn't
works
worked
here.
here.
Deeper into the library, it's bad. Can you not find it?
No, I don't even have it now.
I'll stop and restart.
With Jim.
Yes, Jim brought another.
Going back to comic books, do you think Lafferty would transition well into a graphic interpretation?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've thought about proposing that to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even.
Are you volunteering, Anthony? We can make this happen.
I certainly some of the short stories, I think.
Short stories are easier to do than the novel.
But yeah,
Sounds-
the,
There's a lot of space for the application, so.
Yeah.
Depending on that.
I don't understand. No,
but yeah, I'd actually even,
And a lot of dialogue, which is always good for companies.
Oh, dialogue, yeah.
I had started outlining a comic strip for completely unauthorized official, just my own. But yeah, there's all kinds of interesting ways the panels could be laid out, and that story has to do with mirrorings and double
Can't
ends.
connect this.
Also, no, that's, I can't believe it's going.
Yeah, I need flashback. Let's try Kevin.
Well, I'm gonna restart my phone because he couldn't get through to the internet.
Novel 900 frame others.
Oh, yeah, hasn't that been done?
For magazines on science and different industries. So one of the most prominent magazines who published science fiction was, for example, a magazine called Chemistry to Life. And another was called Knowledge is Power. And they were kind of educational type of magazines. And sometimes they publish science fiction to attract subscription, to make people want these magazines. The other side of this story is that back in those times, the country was very strictly controlled by Communist Party and by KGB. It was complete thought control. They didn't want any subversive ideas on minds of the leaders or any media, so to speak. So a lot of artists who worked at that time, if they were not conformist type, typical time making living, so they wouldn't be allowed to work or sell them or illustrate anything. Immigrated to the margin of society, sort of safe havens for those people were those exact magazines. This coincidence, a lot of extremely talented and sort of forward-looking people in this tiny editorial room, illustrating, for example, Shepley or Lafferty, and so this is how they could make living in Soviet Union. And when I was reading those magazines, of course, I had no idea, and I just loved those illustrations. They were very bizarre and sometimes very abstract, different from what you would see anywhere else in Russia. So in Russia, the prevailing type of art was realism. So everything was supposed to be depicted exactly as it looks, but better. So in those magazines, you could see strange shapes and weird combinations of sort of techniques that were not available anywhere else. So it was add-on to the wonder of science fiction that we were getting from those stories. But of course, it was all very limited. The magazines were coming once a month, and if you're very lucky, maybe 2-3 times a year, they publish some translated author. And Lafferty would come out maybe once every 5 or 6 years. So anyway, I was thinking back to those illustrations, sort of inspired me, maybe subconsciously, to some of the illustrations that I did. I just started thinking back and decided to look at those artists, because it's been many years. I wanted to know what they did since then. Artists that I was thinking about when I was working on my Lafferty pictures. So, number one, his name is Garib Basirov, and he passed away in 2004 in a concentration camp of the traitors of the state. So his child was very brief, but then after Stalin's period was over, he was able to go to an art school, and he became very famous kind of surrealistic artist, not getting any Soviet Union because his pictures were very strange, but he was working for this magazine for Chemistry for Life. Dozens of very prominent science fiction writers. So on the left, you can, the Working Man. It's an illustration for a Bradbury story. And some other examples here. So his style really inspired me when I was doing my last piece for the older people. He creates this kind of very textured space, heavy sort of gravity in the figures of people. Of course, you can analyze it back to Soviet Union. This heavy people probably represent bureaucracy or the oppressive state, but the space around them is extremely unstable, and sometimes it's crumbling. To be indestructible, the space around them is very, very fragile. So, to the next one, please. So this is an Estonian artist called Julo Soster, born earlier than Garib Basirov, and he was born in Estonia when Estonia was still an independent state. He studied there, he went to an art school in Tartu, and then waited, and he got arrested and sent to a concentration camp. And he was released only after Stalin was dead. And he went to Moscow and joined the club of underground artists. These artists who were very much into surrealism and avant-garde. could not make living in any other way than illustrating science fiction and some other books. So I was thinking back to him a lot when I was working on the Steven Bears picture. Works are very graphic, especially the ones he did for the books, and they have this kind of strange geometry in them. And of course, he was a phenomenal painter. So if you come across any books on him, please take a look. Very interesting artist. So this one, a lot of you probably know already. Daniel Rose, Polish artist, by illustrating works of Stanislaw Lem. His works immediately thought of life even long before all these paintings I did. He illustrated not just Lem, but writers, including a series of stories, Tutka, I think it's called. So incredibly interesting art. He was very good at creating this strangely shaped, very related dysfunctional robots for Siberia. That's what you see here. So I think in later years he was using computers to generate his art. His works influenced me a lot. Next one. Another Russian artist. Mysterious one. Nobody knows anything about him. There is no information on the internet. We know only his first initial and last name. So he was a prominent illustrator of books. First Russian science fiction magazine called Если, which in translation means if. Almost like the American magazine. So it's probably based on. So works incredibly sort of. He works on very strong contrasts, cut out shapes, almost like a shadow seer of a kind. His style sort of was very effective for science fiction. So, compilation, you can see his illustration for one of the life of his story, one of the first ones I read. On the right, the original was called The Man Underneath. In Russian version, it was called Little K. So I know nothing about this artist, but he influenced me a lot. And I think there is the last one there. Probably most of you know this one, Roland Topor. So he became really famous after Marinella Fantastic Planet came out. In French, it's called Planète Sauvage. A lot of incredible imagery for that film, including that sort of huge, gigantic anteater. So, especially the one with gathering in the left bottom, that one reminded me a lot of what Harvester was doing in Force Mansion. Sort of the transformation of reality through the thought effort. Of course, in the film, it's a very incredible scene. In the picture, it's not impressive. It's very well-fitting style. So that was
Very good.
Go see that film. Everybody should go see that film.
yes, the
Yes.
film is outstanding. A lot of fun. And here I have books from some of these artists, so if later if we have time, we can use it.
Thank you. I'm gonna. Yeah, we really can't. Let me see. So yeah, the other thought was we were going to earlier lab illustrations, and we thought we'd set it up properly. Still going to try. In the meantime, I guess we could just have an abstract conversation with no visual. We got, what we need to do is open the floor to
while they're waiting, otherwise you'll sit here and stare at the woodwork.
Actually, I'm sorry, this is a purely practical question. What was the name of that last artist in the movie?
The movie is named in English Fantastic Planet, and the artist's name is Roland Topor. Rinella. So Rinella Lu was not very prolific, very interesting director. He started as basically he was a psychiatrist and he worked in a mental institution, doing some art project with his patients to help them to get better. So they made a short animated film called Monkey Tooth to partner, and it became very popular. So he decided he wants to be a director. These science fiction films, The Masters of Time, another one Fantastic Planet, and the third one was based on Isaac Asimov's story, and I think it's called Thunderheart. Yeah. Those are all incredible. The last one was made in North Korea, because that's the only place where labor was cheap enough at the time to complete the project. And people who work on the artists in North Korea who work on the film is French, it required a lot of nudity. Artists in North Korea apparently never had the need to go make a body, or they were probably prohibited from doing that. So that explains some irregularities in the film. I recommend it's very interesting work. Much information.
Oh, no, it's fine. That was another Lafferty like, right?
I would say it's low.
Yeah, he approaches dark subjects with joy.
Yes.
So your covers, as Blackie was alive, you greeted them. Did he ever express any comment about them?
Yes, I was told by his writing group that he came in and held up Lafferty in orbit and said that was his favorite film.
Oh,
And I was like, I tried. I'm sure he had different favorite films at different times.
I understand he specifically disliked the.
I have a connection here, Rob. Let me try putting the HDMI.
Yeah, I've heard that he disliked that one too. Arrive East to One, yes. I like the cover, but I don't think it has any relevance to the book.
It's actually a fragment of a painting that the publisher happened to have bought the rights to.
I know, and he just slapped it on.